Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about something that's absolutely essential for every relationship in your life, whether it's with a partner, a friend, a family member, or even a coworker: boundaries. Boundaries are the invisible lines that help us protect our well-being and maintain healthy, respectful connections. But what exactly are boundaries? Why do we need them? And how do we set them without feeling guilty or causing conflict? Let's break it all down in detail. Boundaries are essentially the limits and rules we set for ourselves within relationships. They define what we are comfortable with and how we would like to be treated by others. Think of boundaries as the property lines of your personal space: emotional, physical, mental, and even digital. They help us distinguish where we end and someone else begins. Without boundaries, it's easy to lose sight of our own needs and get swept up in the expectations or demands of others. Why are boundaries so important? First, they protect our emotional and mental health. Without boundaries, we can easily become overwhelmed, resentful, or even burn out. Boundaries also foster mutual respect. When we communicate our needs clearly, we teach others how to treat us, and we show that we value ourselves. This in turn builds trust and authenticity in our relationships, because everyone knows where they stand and what's expected. Boundaries also help us avoid resentment, which can build up when we feel like we're always giving and never receiving. There are several types of boundaries, and each plays a unique role in our lives. Physical boundaries relate to your personal space and body. For example, you might not like being hugged by acquaintances, or you may need alone time to recharge. Emotional boundaries involve separating your feelings from someone else's. This means not taking responsibility for other people's emotions or letting their mood dictate yours. Mental boundaries protect your thoughts, values, and opinions. You have the right to your own beliefs, even if they differ from those around you. Time boundaries help you manage your schedule and energy, ensuring you don't overcommit or neglect your own needs. Material boundaries concern your possessions and finances, like deciding whether or not to lend money or share your belongings. And in today's world, digital boundaries are more important than ever. Deciding what you share online, who can contact you, and when you're available to respond. Let's look at some real-life examples. Imagine you're at work and a colleague constantly interrupts you while you're trying to focus. Setting a boundary might mean politely but firmly saying, "I need to finish this task, can we talk in an hour?" Or maybe you have a friend who always wants to vent about their problems but never asks how you're doing. A healthy boundary could be, "I care about you, but I also need to talk about what's going on in my life." In family situations, boundaries might look like declining to discuss certain topics at holiday gatherings or limiting the amount of time you spend with relatives who drain your energy. So how do you set healthy boundaries? The first step is self-awareness. Pay attention to situations where you feel uncomfortable, resentful, or drained. These feelings are often signals that your boundaries are being crossed. Next, communicate your boundaries clearly and assertively. Use I statements to express your needs without blaming or accusing. For example, "I need some quiet time after work to recharge," or "I'm not comfortable discussing that topic." Remember, being assertive is not the same as being aggressive. Assertiveness is about standing up for yourself while still respecting others. Consistency is key. If you set a boundary but don't enforce it, people may not take it seriously. It's important to follow through and remind others if they forget or overstep. Don't apologize for your boundaries. You have a right to protect your well-being, and you don't need to feel guilty for doing so. If you're new to setting boundaries, start small. Practice with less challenging situations and gradually work your way up to more difficult ones. It's also important to prepare for resistance. Not everyone will be happy when you start asserting your needs, especially if they're used to you always saying yes. Some people may try to guilt trip you or push back. Stand firm and remember that setting boundaries is an act of self-care, not selfishness. If you struggle, seek support from friends, a therapist, or support groups. Having someone in your corner can make a big difference. What should you do if someone crosses your boundaries? First, acknowledge your feelings. It's normal to feel upset or frustrated. Then address the issue directly and calmly. Remind the person of your boundary and explain how their actions affected you. For example, "I felt uncomfortable when you shared my personal story without asking. Please respect my privacy in the future. If the behavior continues, you may need to enforce consequences, such as limiting contact or reevaluating the relationship. Let's look at how boundaries play out in different types of relationships. In romantic relationships, boundaries help maintain intimacy and respect. This might mean agreeing on how much time you spend together versus apart, or discussing what topics are off limits. In families, boundaries can be tricky, especially if there are long-standing patterns. It's okay to say no to family obligations that overwhelm you, or to limit conversations about sensitive topics. In friendships, boundaries help prevent resentment and maintain balance. You don't have to be available 24/7 or agree with everything your friend says. In the workplace, boundaries are essential for professionalism and preventing burnout. This could mean not answering emails after hours or saying no to extra projects when your plate is full. Digital boundaries are increasingly important too. Decide how much you want to share online, who can contact you, and when you're available to respond. It's okay to mute, block, or unfollow people who drain your energy or disrespect your space. Social media can blur the lines between public and private life, so it's important to be intentional about what you post and who you interact with. For example, you might decide not to accept friend requests from coworkers or to keep your accounts private. Let's talk about some common myths about boundaries. One myth is that setting boundaries is selfish. In reality, boundaries are a form of self-respect and self-care. They allow you to show up as your best self in relationships. Another myth is that boundaries push people away. In fact, healthy boundaries bring people closer by creating a foundation of trust and respect. Some people worry that setting boundaries will lead to conflict. While it's true that some people may resist your boundaries, most healthy relationships can withstand honest communication and grow stronger as a result. If you're struggling with boundaries, remember you're not alone. Many people find this challenging, especially if they grew up in environments where their needs weren't respected. It's never too late to start setting boundaries and building healthier relationships. Take small steps, seek support, and celebrate your progress. Over time, setting boundaries will become more natural, and you'll notice positive changes in your relationships and your overall well-being. Let's recap the key points. Boundaries are essential for healthy relationships. They protect your well-being, foster respect, and build trust. There are many types of boundaries: physical, emotional, mental, time, material, and digital. Setting boundaries starts with self-awareness and clear communication. Be consistent, don't apologize, and prepare for resistance. If your boundaries are crossed, address it directly and enforce consequences if needed. Boundaries look different in every relationship, but they're always about honoring yourself. Remember, boundaries are not about controlling others. They're about taking responsibility for your own needs and well-being. They're a way to honor yourself and create healthier, more fulfilling relationships. Setting boundaries can feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to putting others' needs before your own. But with practice, it gets easier, and the benefits are well worth it. If you're looking for practical ways to start setting boundaries, try writing down your limits in different areas of your life. Practice saying no in low-stakes situations. Role-play conversations with a trusted friend or therapist. And most importantly, be patient with yourself. Change takes time, but every step you take toward healthier boundaries is a step toward a happier, more balanced life. Remember, you deserve relationships that are respectful, supportive, and nurturing, and boundaries are the key to making that possible. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and subscribe for more content. See you in the next video.